The 2023 season has been an unusual one so far. Normally you spot one or two clear-cut favorites for the title, but this season there aren't any. Everything is still up in the air. Both conferences are congested. About 6 teams are competing for home court advantage in the Eastern Conference, and I can't ever remember the East being this strong from 1 to 13. Like, the Magic still have a decent shot at a play-in spot, sitting at the 13th seed. The West is even more congested, with only 3 games separating the 4th-seeded Mavs and the 13th-seeded Lakers. There are several teams looking to be buyers in order to find that one piece that could catapult them into title favorites. There are a bunch of other teams floating around the play-in spot, stuck at a crossroads. They need to decide whether to shake things up in order to go up another level, or simply open up a fire sale and start tanking. Being a team rich in assets, I think the Magic should take advantage of there being more players in the trade market than usual at the trade deadline to help solve their biggest needs: shooting, rebounding, and veteran leadership. And with so many potential sellers at this year's trade deadline, there will be some players who could bring all 3. I've identified some, and also others who are elite at either shooting off the catch or rebounding. There's also one star player who could be available at a discount. Also, surrounding Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner with better shot creators and floor spacers will accelerate their development, because it's going to make the game much easier for them, and that should be the main objective right now. If it leads to a play-in berth, then that would just be gravy. The best trades for the Magic to pursue would be to get an asset that fills a need without giving up too much value. The Magic have enough assets to get anyone they want, within reason obviously. In this video, I proposed some trade ideas to get them, so let's just get straight into it. Alright, I'm going to start with some more reasonable and gettable targets. The first player might not be a household name, but could be of sneaky good value, and that's Kenrich Williams from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, why him? First, he has good size for being a spot-up shooter, being a 6'6" wing with a 6'9" wingspan. He excels at shooting out the catch at a 42% clip, and also shoots the same while spotting up. He's very active on the glass, boxes out well, and hustles hard, something we desperately need: more defense and rebounding help. Furthermore, Williams is a good defender. His size allows him to guard multiple positions. You can even play him as a small ball 5. I think the Magic will like him because his advanced stats really stand out. The Thunder are surprisingly a good team out west with a near 500 record, and Williams has played an integral role in their rise. You find his name usually present in some of their best 3-man lineup combinations. Additionally, he ranks in the top 5 in all their major advanced metrics: 4th in win shares per 48, 2nd in offensive win shares, and offensive box score plus minus. He has a positive net rating of 3, ranks in the 81st percentile in rim defense, which is a huge weakness of the Magic, especially whenever Wendell is off the floor. And Kenrich also ranks in the 81st percentile in EPM. The Thunder are in desperate need of some big man help. Currently, they're relying on the rookie and Mike Muscala. This is a mock trade that I came up with, fairly simple. Presti will take on the Mo Bamba project, who I think could thrive offensively with Shea and Josh Giddey, and in turn will take on another reclamation project in Pokusevski. Now, I don't rate Poku at all, but this Orlando Magic front office might. RJ Hampton will get to go closer to home, I guess, and we'll get a fresh new start. It sucks what's happened to his Magic career. I think he'll be a good player one day in the right system. Mike Muscala has a club option at the end of the year, so he's basically an expiring contract. We'll also toss in a couple of second rounders so that they can add to their treasure chest of picks. Now, the Thunder could go about this trade in 2 ways. One, the added frontcourt help fills a glaring need, or the opposite, where Sam Presti could rev up the tank by trading one of their key players that has contributed a lot to winning recently. Now, will SGA be down with another tanking season? He could be. Sam Presti has drafted extremely well recently, and I think he's won the trust of SGA. I think they're one top 5 pick away, and SGA probably knows this. Like, could you imagine adding Brandon Miller to their roster? You just know Presti's eyeing him, and hopefully that leads to a fire sale with players like Kenrich Williams being on the block. Next up is Buddy Hield. To get on the Pacers will probably require a first round pick and some young talent, assets that Hield's most aggressive suitors like the Lakers and Mavs simply can't offer. Hield is one of the best shooters in the league, especially off the catch. His off-ball movement and dead-eye shooting range would open things up nicely for all of our playmakers who are still all young and developing. We'd probably have to give up our current best shooter in Gary Harris Jr., and that would suck, but he'll be replaced by a much more reliable option. You see, Hield is very durable, and the Lord knows how much this franchise needs durable players, especially from the guard position. He's never played less than 71 games in a season. Furthermore, Buddy Hield is a better shot creator for himself and for his teammates. He would bring much more to the table offensively than Harris can. Of course, Hield is already 30, but he doesn't have much mileage on him because he's only in his 7th season and he's never played in the playoffs. If his play somehow starts falling off a cliff, then hopefully we'll have his replacement ready in Caleb Houston or one of our draft picks with the Bulls pick this year, Jet Howard, Grady Dick, or Bryce Sensabaugh maybe. So this is my proposed trade. Again, it's tough to trade Gary Harris because he's been our best vet and has been shooting the lights out lately, but he'll get to go back home, and the Pacers get Mo Bamba, who could flourish with Halliburton and Nembhard setting him up, and they need a big who can catch lobs and spread the floor. Hield is an elite shooter, a good competitor, and a good locker room guy. He'll be worth the price tag of a first round pick, and it's a good veteran in Gary Harris Jr. Alright, next up we need to fix our rebounding woes, and a decent value option is Isaiah Hartenstein from the New York Knicks. The Knicks could be buyers and are reportedly looking for a veteran 3-and-D scorer off the bench. Sounds like a spot for one Terrence Ross. We could simply trade T. Ross for him straight up and the salaries are matched, maybe add in a couple of second rounders to sweeten things up. Hartenstein was a big reason why the Clippers made the play-in game last year despite not having Kawhi or PG for most of the season. This season he's averaging 12 rebounds per game per 36. He posts an impressive rebounding percentage of 17.6, which puts him 28th in the league. He could help solve our defensive rebounding woes and be a huge upgrade over Mo Bamba. Additionally, he's capable of finding open teammates off short rolls and has a soft touch around the basket. He's very efficient at shooting teardrops off of screens, and he's a very good screen setter, which will be of use to Franz and Markelle, and of course our two young guards off the bench. Moving along, this next trade is a pretty crazy one. As you can see, 4-team trades rarely ever happen, but this one solves the need for all teams involved. The main target for the Magic in this trade is Cam Johnson, who would be the perfect fit next to Paolo and Franz. If we can get him for less than his value due to the desperation of the Suns to win now, then we should be all over it. Cam Johnson is still only 26 and would bring valuable finals experience. He doesn't require the ball to score, but still puts up 15 points per game in just 25 minutes. The North Carolina product is shooting 45% on 5.5 attempts off the cash this season. His advanced stats are pretty good. He leads the Suns in BPM and offensive BPM. So here's my explanation for the trade. We'll help the Suns get one of their main targets in Pascal Siakam. The Suns should just go all in because they're not looking to trade Chris Paul, and Devin Booker is right in the middle of his prime. They get a 25 points per game scorer who'll fit in perfectly with Chris Paul. In addition, they get to replace DeAndre Ayton with a cheaper option in Jakob Poeltl, who won't sulk for touches and statistically is just as good of a rim protector. We'll have to cough up the pick that the Nuggets owe us in 2025, but Cam Johnson will be worth it. Gary Harris Jr. will fit in perfectly in Phoenix, and it's hard to let him go, but again, Cam would be worth it. The Suns have a new owner, and there are rumors that he's planning to do something big this trade deadline, so look out for something crazy like Siakam to the Suns, and hopefully the Magic will get involved in it. We'll take on Dario Saric's cap hit for them and also get a smart, experienced, and savvy veteran who's been on winning teams and has played with a bunch of superstars in Thaddeus Young, the perfect type of veteran that the Magic need. The Raptors will go through with a soft reset. They'll probably move on Fred VanVleet in another trade. They desperately need a center. They're currently relying on Precious Achiuwa, who is really a power forward. Sure, they'll lose some scoring and shot creation, but Ayton will fill the need and also can be used as a stretch 5. They'll get RJ Hampton, who will probably receive some playing time because they're very thin at the guard position, especially if they trade Fred VanVleet. The Raptors will also receive a nice hollow picks from the Suns to add to their rebuild. The Spurs do this because they get a first round pick down the line, a top 5 protected pick, and also Jay Crowder's expiring contract. They'll probably buy him out and free up some more cap space. Now, this last trade is completely different from my previous ones where I was conservative and avoided trading for star players. The point of all the other trades was to find value without giving up too much, to avoid going after high usage players in order to develop Franz and Paolo. But the next one, however, is for a 3-time All-Star whose value is probably at its lowest. His team would probably have to blow everything up if they can get a chance to get their pick back this year. And guess who owns their pick? It's time for the Magic to take advantage. You know, if you have a shot at a star player in his prime under contract for the next 4 years, then you should take it. Lavine's stock is low right now, but he's still a 27-year-old guard who averaged 25 points per game on 50, 40, 85 shooting splits in the last 3 seasons. He would fill a huge hole in our offense. We lack rim pressure from the guard position, and that's where he excels at. We desperately need someone who can draw defenders away from Paolo and Wendell down low and get them easy baskets. And of course, his drives will collapse defenses, opening up kick-out opportunities for open threes. Another benefit of trading for Lavine would be that he's a perfect backcourt pairing with both Fultz and Suggs. They could somewhat mask his efficiencies on defense, and in turn, the attention that Lavine commands on offense would release some pressure off of them to score so that they can just concentrate on playmaking. Lavine's deficiencies on defense is an issue, but right now his offense is what we need in order to take the next step. We should only go after Lavine if we can get him without giving up any of our best young players and more than one of our own first round picks. And this trade allows us to do that. It won't be much of a risk, even if the uber athletic Lavine becomes injury prone and starts declining sooner than expected, a la Steve Francis. We'll send him an expiring in Terrence Ross and also Jonathan Isaac, who they can opt to not extend, freeing up more cap space. plus 3 first-round draft picks, something the Lakers cannot offer. It sucks to trade Cole Anthony, but his role will be diminished with Lavine on board, and a backcourt of Cole Anthony and Lavine would be a disaster on defense. Now, having said all this, I still don't think the Bulls will go through with this trade unless they really want their pick back. I think it's top 4 protected, but this year's draft is very top 10 heavy, even top 15, and a chance of getting a top 10 pick would be an enticing option to kickstart their new rebuild, and that's what I'm banking on with them going through with this trade. Zach LaVine is a Seattle native. He'll get along well with Paolo on and off the court, bring some more buzz to the city, and his acquisition will show Paolo and Franz that this organization is committed to winning. We should definitely inquire about LaVine, but refrain from continuing talks if the Bulls start asking for more than one of our own picks and one of our core young players. Alright, to finish off, I think it would be preferable if the Magic made a move for a 3-and-D player who is also a shot creator and fits a rebuilding timeline. If we can get a player like Cam Johnson or Buddy Hield without giving up any of our own picks, along with not giving up Wendell, Markelle, and Jalen Suggs, then that would be an ideal scenario. We can afford to give up the Nuggets pick because, let's face it, it'll probably be in the late 20s because the Nuggets are a well-ran organization and Nikola Jokic is as durable of a superstar as I've ever seen. We also need to loosen the logjam of young players all playing the same position. We can afford to give up players like Cole Anthony, Bol Bol, Mo Bamba, and even Chuma Okeke if it means finding players that complement Paolo and Franz and also filling in some gaping holes in our current roster. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Tell me what you guys thought about all my trade proposals. Were they realistic? Were we giving up too much? Let me know any modified versions of trades below or any other trade suggestions that you want me to know of, and I'll definitely make a video reacting to them. If this video brought some value to you, then please like it and share it to other Magic fans who aren't aware of it, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thanks for all the love. I'm almost at 1K subscribers and I haven't even put out 30 videos, so I'm very appreciative of all the support. Thanks for all the love again, and go Magic.